Welcome to another video. Today I'm in the beautiful and colourful medieval fort town of Jaisalmer in Rajasthan. It's where people have lived within the walls of the fort for more than 600 years. Good morning from Jaisalmer. I'm staying inside a fort built in 1155. Behind me is the Jain temple inside the fort. It's beautiful here. So I've landed in Mud Mirror Homestay. Oh my goodness, you're not going to believe this. This is inside the fort complex in Jaisalmer. Come on in. A beautiful little room, and then I open the little door to a balcony. It has a little balcony. Have a look at this. I step out on the balcony, and right next to me is a 500-year-old temple in the fort complex. This is maybe one of the most beautiful places I've ever stayed, overlooking Jaisalmer. Got lucky on this one. So where I'm staying is actually a 600-year-old building. The story here is that the Maharaja built the fort, but realized if he's just in a fort by himself, then he's nothing. To be a Maharaja, you need people. So he invited people into his fort 600 years ago. And so there's actually a living village inside this fort. It's a really fascinating story. So if the Maharaja needs flowers, there is one family that makes flowers. There's another family that makes jewelry. And this has been passed on through the generations. So each family has its role within the village in service of the Maharaja. And I believe this is the only fort or palace in the world that's still a living fort. People live their daily lives within the walls of the fort. It's incredible. And where I'm staying here, I'm a part of it. It's lovely. And after a lovely meal and a restful sleep, I woke to sunrise over Jaisalmer. So what a spot for breakfast, right in front of the ancient sandstone Jain temple. We'll fire up with a bit of chai, with brekkie, and then we'll go exploring. First stop is the amazing Jain temple with its intricate sandstone carvings. In Jainism, they don't worship a god, they worship 26 prophets who represent different aspects of humanity and spiritual growth. Jainism is one of the world's oldest religions. It predates Hinduism and Buddhism. I think that was the most beautiful temple I've ever seen. The carving in the sandstone was intricate and incredibly beautiful. Now we're going to have a wander through the fort section of the village and just see what we find. There's lots of beautiful fabric and handicrafts, and of course they're trying to sell to tourists, and that's really gorgeous, but don't forget to look up. He lives in this house. The king gave this house to his family 600 years ago. He's a lucky man. This is the main square of the fort. You see behind me, that's the King's Palace, and he has a balcony. Next to it is the Queen's Palace. She doesn't have a balcony because queens can't be seen by commoners, so she's just got these little windows. She can look out and see what's happening, but nobody can see her. That's really important in Rajasthani culture. And yes, even in an ancient fort, there are cows wandering around. This is India. So of course the fort's pretty touristy, and everybody's trying to sell you beautiful Rajasthani handicrafts and materials. But they're doing it with a smile. They're actually really nice, and they're not too pushy. And if you don't want to buy, they're okay with that. They just want you to have a look. They're fine. Now I'm going to go up these steps. Apparently we get a view of the city. And this is the view of Jaisalmer. And after exploring the narrow alleys for hours, I thought it was time to maybe step outside the fort and have a look around the old town of Jaisalmer. Jaisalmer is really well known for silverwork and textiles. And you can see some beautiful silverwork there, but of course it's all at tourist prices here. So here's the main entrance to the fort. If you're in Jaisalmer, you can bring a car up to this point, but then the entrance is too narrow, so it's got to be a motorbike, and maybe they just about squeeze a tuk-tuk in. I don't think anything says India more than this scene in front of me with beautiful Haveli and the cows. I'm hoping you can make it out, but on the wall of the fort up there are big boulders and stones, and they're there for an invading army to throw them at, basically roll them off the edge of the wall and crush the enemy below. And the fort is surrounded by all of these boulders as part of their defense system. Because in 1155, that's what you were working with. Jaisalmer is quite a tourist hub. Lots of tourists come here, and there are plenty of hotels to accommodate them. Some beautiful hotels like this one, and also this one. I'm just seeing these as I'm wandering around, but I'm so happy that I'm actually staying in a guest house inside the fort. It has such an incredible atmosphere of history associated with it, and it's so beautiful. So as I'm walking around, I have to have my wits about me, because you're always dodging motorbikes and tuk-tuks, dodging people, looking up at the amazing architecture, but also don't forget to look down or you're stepping in cow doo-doo. So you've got to keep your wits about you. So what's a Haveli? It's basically a mansion. This one was built by Salim Singh in 1815, and it was his family mansion. Beautiful work though. Jaisalmer is a medieval city. It grew because it was an important centre on the trade routes where the traders... Oh my lord. Jaisalmer is a medieval city in the middle of the Thar Desert. It's surrounded by Thar Desert. And this place was in... This is take 5 because of the noise. Jaisalmer is an important city on the trade routes. It's in the middle of the Thar Desert, surrounded by desert. Travellers would come to this city for centuries, trading silver, materials, spices, even opium. Jaisalmer is known as the Golden City because there's so much beautiful sandstone architecture here, and when the sun hits it, it almost seems golden, or at least amber. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm loving wandering around Jaisalmer. Eventually I couldn't resist the beautiful tapestries and wall hangings, and I walked into this shop, and I must admit I spent money.
Those are masterpieces of workmanship.
Oh, they are.
My shop is called KB Cooperative Arts.
Okay.
And we sell all the things which are made by the local artisans who live in the desert. And here nothing is sold which is made by any industries or factories. Everything made by women who live in the desert.
Okay. And made by hand, yes.
And made by hand, yes.
And after a lovely day exploring, I headed back to the rooftop cafe at Mud Mirror, where Johnny Depp once dined. And when you come to Jaisalmer, come to Mud Mirror. It's amazing. Lala here will look after you.
Welcome.
He's friends with Johnny Depp, so he knows people in high places.
Most welcome to the beautiful city Jaisalmer, and you come and enjoying to the quiet desert and look this view. It's really help to you to relax here.
Very much. I recommend this place. I'll put the links down below.
When I think about yesterday, my oh my, my oh my, a kiss, and so I did. My oh my.